joining me tonight on CHEA Use of Knowledge is Power. My guest is Miss Patricia Franklin-Lindsey. We're going to be talking about having a plan for your tax returns. So sit back, relax, and enjoy tonight's show. Are you over the age of 25 and you haven't graduated from high school? Are you over the age of 30 and you're having problems with basic reading and math calculations? And you need to return to school but you're afraid of the traditional classroom setting? Are you over the age of 50 and you're having problems finding a job because you don't know how to use a computer? Well, don't worry, CHEA Adult Skills Center is here for you. We work with adults aged 25 years of age and older in basic reading, math, GED prep, and computer training. So please give us a call today because CHEA is here to help you. Thank you for joining me again this week. This is Dr. Wells Strozier. Tonight in the studio, we have Miss Patricia Franklin-Lindsey. Got it. Hey. Tonight, we got a good topic tonight. We're going to be talking about having a plan for your income taxes. So, thank you as always.
Oh, thank you for inviting me.
You're so welcome. All righty. Income tax season.
Yes.
Was it yesterday or day before yesterday they could start e-filing?
Monday was the first day that you could start to e-file. Yes.
Alrighty. So when I thought about the topic, I thought about Judge Mathis. And a lot of people always sing when they borrow money, they say, I'll pay you back when I get my income taxes.
Oh, yes.
So people got all these big plans for their taxes. But when it's time for those taxes to come in, it seems to go just as quick as their plans. So let's talk about income tax season. But I think I'm jumping the conversation because I'm excited. So tell me about yourself. How about that one?
Okay. Well, my name is, of course, Patricia Franklin-Lindsey. I've been in banking for over 35 years. One of my pet peeves, or should I say my passion that I have, is just being able to give back and so into the community that I serve. And I look forward to being able to, be a vessel and have information that people could use to move their life forward. All
righty. So, income tax season. Give us some plans for income taxes.
Well, what we see is a lot of people will come into the largest sum of funds that they're going to have for this year. And that's usually tax returns. The average person will probably get somewhere between $2,000 up to maybe $5,000 in returns this year. Okay. And they have no plan for it. And unfortunately, as you stated, as quickly as they get it, it goes just as fast. Yes. Because if you don't have a plan for your money, it has a way of getting away from you.
That's true. That's true.
So what we're hoping to be able to do is just get the word out about the importance of budgeting and having a plan and setting a goal. Okay. It's nothing like being able to see where your money has gone versus to look around and think, oh my God, I can't believe, where did it go?
That's true. That's true. Let's talk about some basic banking strategies with your tax returns. Now, not sure how many people have a savings account or either a checking account. What would be the benefits of opening a savings account with your tax returns?
Well, one of the benefits is if you, of course, have your account open at a bank or credit union, you don't have to be concerned about paying all those excess fees with going to a pay here type of place or taking it, to one of the big box corporations that we have out there. You could just have your funds go directly deposited into your account. And then those are dollars you get to keep in your own pocket.
You said something that's very important because a lot of people do go these payday advance places, and this is with their paychecks or with a personal check that's been written out to them. What is the downfalls? Because there is no benefits I can see except that you're getting your money, but you're not getting all of your money. So can you tell the viewers what is the downfalls or what are the downfalls of going to those payday advances type places?
The biggest downfall is, of course, you're going to pay a fee. Or you're going to pay a higher interest. Because basically what it is they can either give you a loan or they charge you a fee to get your money quicker. So if you have, just say, for example, a check $600 and you take it to a pay here place, they may charge you like $79 up to $80 just to have that check, cashed or on a payday lending type of fee. Well, that's almost like 300% interest.
Yes.
So,
are you able to cash your? Well, I'm not sure because I don't get anything back from taxes. But for those who do, is everything direct deposited, or do you actually get a check?
Well, there are options. You can get a paper check. Of course, we're moving more towards electronic direct deposit. So you see more people who will get checks directly deposited into their account. They can have it directly deposited into on a net a green card, green dot. They have different things that you can have if you don't have an actual account. But again, if you use one of those cards, you're going to end up paying a fee when you use the ATM to get your money out.
Got it. So if they get a paper check for their tax return, can they take it to one of those corner stores in order to cash one of those checks?
Absolutely, they can,
Wow.
and they will pay a fee for that.
Okay.
The fees can be, we had an incident where a young lady received a check from us, and it was like $5,000. She ended up paying $350 to have the check cash with the fees. So it could be very costly and expensive. So for a person who feels like $350, oh well, now I got the other $4,650 remaining. But from an investment standpoint, think of what you could have done with that $350.
That is true. So let's talk about cashing that type of a check at a corner store somewhere, and two people names are on the check. Can I cash a check with just my name on the check if the check is made out to two individuals?
No. A two-party check, both parties have to endorse the back of the check.
And if it's not?
We would like to have both people in front of us to validate that they each have actually signed off, because we wouldn't want one person to sign someone else's name and then they go in. However, if you have a two-party check and you have a joint account, then one party could endorse the back of the check for deposit only and deposit that check into the account, because both party names are on the account and on the check as well.
Alrighty, so we're going to deposit our check into the bank. We're not going to put it on a card, because you said we have to pay a fee if we were to withdraw some of the money off of the card.
Well, you pay ATM fees.
Okay.
Yes.
Ooh.
So
are they? I don't know if you know. Are they like $5 more than the regular $3?
The fee is going to determine what institution ATM you use.
Okay.
So,
but for those who do have the card, is it a reloadable card, or is it just a card just for your income taxes?
Some of them are reloadable, that you could actually use them over and over again for other purposes. We see a lot of people who don't have what we call unbanked individuals, and they have those cards, and their payroll deposits go directly on those cards.
You know, I had a student here, and that was the first time I ever heard of that their paycheck was deposited on a card.
Yes.
I'm like, is that legal? So yes.
Yes, it is. What happens is a lot of institutions, businesses are getting away from paper checks. Of course, it cuts down cost on their end when they don't have to mail out a check. So it's easier to have, and you can get your money quicker once it goes direct deposit. So basically those debit cards that you see that individuals may have through their jobs, those are reloadable. They just put their payroll checks on them. However, once they withdraw money, they have to use an ATM.
And that's an ATM
And
fee.
that's an ATM fee that they have to pay every time. So what happens is you have a lot of people who just don't equate their time with money.
True. And that's when we have something done, they always want to charge you more for labor, because your time is worth so much more, and people don't value their time.
No.
No. So we deposit the money into the savings account. What would be a good way of investing my money through the banks?
Well, it depends on the amount of money that you have.
Okay.
I always say, regardless to if you made $12,000 or less a year, or if you made $120,000 or more a year, everyone should have a savings plan. Okay, you should have somewhere where you're going to be able to save money, because money does accumulate over time. And so based on how much money you have saved, there's different things that you can invest money in based on what level you're at. But the first thing is save whatever. If it's $1, $5, $10, it accumulates over a period of time.
I'm smiling at you because I'm thinking of my next question, because my mom is going to say, well, Marcy, didn't you know that answer? Yes, Mom. For the next question I'm going to ask, I know the answer, but I need for my professional to answer the question. You get your income taxes. Should you pay your bills or should you just go and buy something for yourself?
What I would say is once you get your tax returns, you should have a plan for it. And, nobody wants to have all work and no play.
That is true.
You can definitely have some balance, but I would suggest that you want to be able to do something with your tax returns that you're going to be able to, reap a benefit from. Mm-hmm. So I wouldn't suggest a person get their tax returns and they go shopping and buy up a bunch of clothes or shoes or things like that, because those are things that you're going to have them, but you're not going to wear them. Mm-hmm. How many people open up their closet and it's full of clothes and there's nothing there to wear?
That's true.
Okay.
That's
so,
true.
You don't really want to spend your money in that manner, but there's nothing wrong with you going out and buying yourself a piece, a pair of shoes or a purse or whatever, because you feel like you've earned it and you deserve it. Mm-hmm. But with the other funds, you should be saving it. If you have debt that you want to pay down, the best time to try to pay it off is now. You can negotiate debt if you have bad debt, or if you just have a credit card with a higher interest rate, why not pay that off?
Are you over the age of 25 and you haven't graduated from high school? Are you over the age of 30 and you're having problems with basic reading and math calculations, and you need to return to school but you're afraid of the traditional classroom setting? Are you over the age of 50 and you're having problems finding a job because you don't know how to use a computer? Well, don't worry, CHEA Adult Skills Center is here for you. We work with adults aged 25 years of age and older in basic reading, math, GED prep, and computer training. So please give us a call today because CHEA is here to help you. So this morning, which is every morning, I'm going down Door Highway, but this morning I actually noticed or paid attention to some of the smaller car dealerships on Door Highway, mm-hmm. and how they started putting this cost of the vehicles on top of the cars. I know that there are used vehicles. This is the time of the season where a lot of people who when they get their income taxes, they're going to go buy a car. So what is your professional advice on people who take their income taxes to buy a used car and spend that whole entire check on a vehicle that may not last them to next year, opposed to building their credit, going to a bank, taking a loan out, paying a smaller amount of money from their income taxes to get a better vehicle? So what's your professional take on that?
Well, that's kind of a double-edged sword,
Okay.
in a sense. And I say that because, unfortunately, you may have a person that's working. They need transportation to get back and forth to work, but they don't have the time to work on their credit because it may take 12 months,
okay.
and they need a car now. But what I would suggest is this. If you're going to purchase a used car, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that, just get it checked out. Mm-hmm. If not by the person who's selling it to you, but if you could take that car and get it checked out by some other mechanic, or take it to one of the other, places where they repair and work on cars to see if there's any major issues with the car, okay. That maybe can save you some money and some headache, mm-hmm. In the long run, because you don't want to have to go and buy a car and then it doesn't work for you in a couple months. And if you don't have the funds to get it fixed. So you just want to make sure that the car doesn't have any major issues.
Okay.
But
as far as, so really it's okay to use your whole entire income taxes to buy a used car opposed to taking out a loan?
Well, if you have the credit to be able to get a loan, and I guess just to back up a little bit.
Okay.
So first of all, if you're going to get a loan at the dealership, mm-hmm. those interest rates are very high usually. Okay. So you're going to pay anywhere, most people can pay, 8 to 20% or more, mm-hmm. In interest on a car for that, if they're buying it and paying for it right at the dealership. And when I don't want to say all dealerships are like that. If you're going to get a loan, I guess the best thing to say is if you're going to get a loan, know who you want to do business with. Okay. You want to be mindful of the interest rate that you're going to be paying. Mm-hmm. What you don't want to do is buy a used car from a dealer that the car breaks down and now you still owe $10,000 on a car that's only worth $4,000.
Alrighty.
Okay. So, I mean, there's absolutely nothing wrong with getting a loan. You know, just be mindful of the interest rate that you're paying. If you could pay cash for it, that's even better because now you're not going into debt.
Okay.
But you just want to make sure that you're buying a reliable vehicle.
Very much so. All right, so we talked about depositing the money into a savings account, being careful about some of those cards, about getting your deposit put on those cards because of ATM fees. We can purchase a car if we choose to. Try to pay off some of your credit. I mean, your people you owe. This is going to be a one to throw out here that I think some people haven't considered. Okay. Starting a business with your income tax return.
Oh, I think that would be a great idea. I mean, if you have a passion, I have a friend in Indianapolis. Well, not a friend, a cousin in Indianapolis.
That's a big jump.
Yes, right. But she's my husband's cousin. And so her and I are really close friends, and but we're family. But she made that jump and went into business for herself. And it was a hard decision because when you're used to someone paying you versus you going out on your own, now you got to make this happen. But she's had a lot of success and she started with baby steps. So what I would suggest is before you start thinking about going out and starting your own business, learn what all you need to know about that business.
That is true.
So get professional help and counseling to make sure that you're making the right decisions, because there's more that goes along with just saying, okay, I'm going to make soap, and just start making soap and think that I can open up. There's insurance, there's liabilities, all different types of things that go along with that. So you could decide if you're going to be a LLC, a corporation, a S Corp, or DBA. There's so many different ways that you can start that business.
That is true. I know a lot of people, and myself, because that would have been a great thing to do with my income tax return, was to start my business, opposed to sitting down and saying, well, I started with nothing. But, that's something to really think about, is to be able to have a plan for your income taxes. If you have any desire to open a business, that will be some good seed money in order to get you started. Let's jump ship a little bit. And you were talking about insurance. Let's talk about insurance, and let's talk about life insurance. This is a big thing in the Black community that I do know about. Not sure if it's a generational thing. You had the golden age. They bought plots, burial plots. The baby boomers, I think they started investing in whole life. Generation X, we're kind of between a whole life and the term insurance. I'm not really sure what millennials are doing, and God knows I don't know what Generation Z is doing. So let's talk about whole life. Well, first of all, before we do that, why is life insurance so important?
Well, I think life insurance is important for a couple different reasons. One is it gives your family a sense of security. Okay. You may have a husband who's the breadwinner in a household, and if something happens to him and his income goes away, if he passes on, then how do you pay off the house? How do you pay off the car? How do you continue to live?
That's true.
So that's really the basis for life insurance. I guess you could actually look at it as a way of building wealth within a family unit. So there's different types. You spoke of term life. Term life is basically an opportunity for a person to purchase insurance for a specific term.
Yes.
So it could be 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, so it's a term. And that's a good thing to have if you're, let's say, for example, I have a, $200,000 house, I have a $50,000 car, and I have all these other debts and everything like that, and I'm going to be paying on that for the next 15 years. Well, I may want to have that extra insurance because term insurance is a lot cheaper to cover me during those 15 years while I'm paying off these items. So I may still have a whole life in place, but I may have this term life to be able to cover me so that in case if something happens to me, my loved ones could pay off the house, pay off the car, and they're not left with all that debt or trying to figure out what they're going to do next.
Okay, whole life insurance.
And whole life insurance basically is just that. There's no term to it. Some whole life insurances, you may, pay them up at age 85. Some of them may go on, you pay on them forever. But the difference is they usually accumulate in value.
That they do.
Whereas term life does not.
It.
And I would suggest anyone out there, if you have whole life insurance, do not borrow against that. That's a bad investment because a lot of people don't pay it back. And then what it does is it depreciates the value to eventually one day you're going to wake up and, you're not going to have any insurance. And it's going to be probably when you really need it.
That is true.
So that's not something that I would suggest that an individual would take advantage of.
And so again, we can use our income tax money for this. What age should a parent invest in insurance for their child?
Well, me, myself, you could purchase insurance, and I'm not an insurance agent or licensed at this point in time, so I'm just speaking from my personal experience. But I think my son was either a week old or 30 days old. I can't remember exactly. Life. Yes. So I would say you can purchase it as early as possible. Why? Because the younger a person is, the least expensive it's going to be. The older you are, the cost goes up because sometimes you run into health issues that an individual can have, and all that makes a difference when you're pricing out that insurance.
Okay, so let's say that if I'm a mother of some teenagers. No, they're grown now, which I don't have this issue because I hope he has insurance, but I might have to take on this issue. So for a mother who has a grown child and you're not sure if he has a life insurance policy and he's not honest with you about a life insurance policy, can a parent take out a policy on a grown adult child?
In actuality, you cannot take out life insurance on anyone without their permission.
Okay.
They do need to sign off on the documents as well. That is basically once you become of age. Now you can take life insurance out on your children, and you can have it for them through their entire lifetime.
That's once they're a child,
right? Then, or up to the age of 17, or of age or something like that. You can take out life insurance for an individual in that sense, but you cannot take out, like, you couldn't just get life insurance on me.
Wow.
Because then you might want to just knock me off and take advantage of it. And I don't know anything about it. So that's one of the reasons that I would need to be aware of it and sign off on.
I wonder if this sometimes, while we have these problems in the Black community, we have a large population that don't carry life insurance. And it is that age group of the 20 to probably 35 years of age that seems to... I'll be honest about it, and you're probably going to have to edit this so I can get my words out correctly. But when we have the crime with the youth, and we're finding that a lot of these parents didn't have insurance on these individuals. Of course, they were older adults, but I'm trying to think how to word this question.
Well, one thing that I can say is, if you were in the act of a crime, insurance policies probably would not pay out. So it's a different if you were a victim of crime, then it would pay out. But if the victim was a part of the crime, then most of the time insurance policies won't pay out for that.
Wow.
So.
Okay. I know pre-existing conditions. Why do insurance do not cover you for pre-existing conditions?
Well, I can't say that all insurance companies don't. There's so many different types of insurances that are out there. And then that's where you would probably really need to speak to either someone that's an expert, in sell life insurance that could really answer those questions. Because there are so many different types. I'm sure you've seen the Colonial Penn commercials on TV, and it says it doesn't matter what your condition is, they can get you life insurance. So there are opportunities out there where an individual can get life insurance up until age, I think it's either 85 or, a different number, but just based on what you're trying to achieve. Okay, if you're a young couple starting out your life and you're getting ready to start your family, I would suggest you're young, get insurance policy that's going to cover you so that you can be able to create and leave some wealth. Now, of course, that's a bill that you're going to have to be mindful of, that you're going to have to pay on a monthly basis as well.
That is true.
So you want to be able to make sure that it's something that you can afford to keep.
Okay. All right, so we can possibly buy some insurance for our family members, mothers. You can buy it for your children, spouses. You can buy it for one another as long as each other have permission.
You need to have, you need to just, like I couldn't go out and just buy life insurance for my husband and not have him sign off.
Okay.
Again, people closest to you are the ones who may have other alternative motives. So we don't want to encourage those motives. But again, there are so many different policies and plans that are out there, and you can buy family plans.
Okay.
My mother, when, for us, she had family plans. So that meant that she had insurance, and then all the children were also covered up under that plan as well.
Okay. I got my income tax return, and I like to do some renovations or beautification to the house. With my income tax return, I may not have enough money. What kind of assistance can I get in order to help me with my project?
Okay. Well, there are several different programs that are out there. Okay. Some of them are income-based. So based on what your income is, you may be able to apply for certain grants that they have available in the community. Those grants can help you with, roofing, siding, windows, furnace, hot water heaters, just a lot of different things, or accessible modifications that you may need to have done to your home as well. Ramps, bathroom modifications, stair lifts. So there are a lot of different opportunities that are there for you. But with MSHDA, there's different loans that they have that are available through the state. Okay. That you can go to some of your local institutions that may offer that for property improvement programs. Then each one of your banking institutions and credit unions also have different loans that are available that could be at a lower cost as well, that could help with some of those modifications and renovations that you want to do to your home.
Patricia, I want to tell you thank you so much for joining me on tonight. The information was very valuable, and you taught me some of the things to do if I was to receive a tax return. Viewers, thank you for joining me tonight. Hopefully you have a wonderful work week.